Um, Hi, everyone. Today's story is going to be a very different story because it's a very troubling story. It's trouble with trouble. That's the problem with trouble. You see, trouble always troubles. But in this case, in this story, Trouble was the name of a dog, a pet. This is a story I read on the title of the story is Trouble with Trouble. I read on storyweaver.org. So that's a website where you guys can go create your own stories. This could be one of the creations of a wonderful young child like you, because I don't know how old the author is. But it's a wonderful story. It's in the poem format and a very nice story. But I'm not going to tell the story exactly as is. I've read that story and I've taken the liberty to change it according to my own fantasy. Now I'm doing that so that you listen to my story, go to storyweaver.org, read that story, Trouble with Trouble, compare the two. Probably they won't match, they will be completely way off track. But that will give some ideas for you to create stories. Now, if you can do something similar, because I've been encouraging Tanusha to do that, and she's written 2 stories and posted on Storyweaver already. If you can take some ideas from that, read some stories on that website and create your own story, that will be really awesome. This is something that we normally do in our storytelling workshop, where the children create stories from clues, from little tiny details that I give them. Okay, so here's the trouble with trouble. Now, the first thing in the morning when the newspaper guy comes and throws paper out from the gate, Trouble is waiting right outside the door. Now, the first time he threw the paper, it thought it was a bone. Wow! It went and grabbed that paper like, it was a delicious snack, mouth-watering. And then when it brought that paper in with completely wet piece of paper, my grandfather was so horrified. "What have you done, Trouble?" screamed my grandfather. That was when we knew that the trouble with trouble had begun. So, the days passed. Trouble was not that bit of a trouble, I thought, because during the course of the day, as I would get ready for school, immediately he would know that it was time for me to wear my shoes and socks. And so he would readily go bite that piece of socks and bring it and drop it on my feet under the dining table. Then he would run again, bite that shoe, bring it and drop it on my feet under the dining table. So he was making my job easy and my life easy, I thought. He was my pet after all. And I was training him to do my job easy. But the trouble began after I left home. That evening when I came back from school, I saw that there was a big drama. My neighboring auntie was creating such a fuss. Why? Because he had jumped over the wall and tasted her newly growing pumpkin in her garden. Wow, pumpkin. But this auntie had just taken to organic gardening and she was so looking forward to that first pumpkin. And when that first pumpkin came, it was in my Trouble's mouth. Well, that was the beginning of Trouble's trouble. But suddenly, one day, I woke up in the morning and I called for Trouble. "Trouble, come, let's go for a walk." Trouble was nowhere to be found. Where was Trouble? "Trouble, where are you? Trouble, are you looking for some trouble? Come now, right here." I called out for him and no, he didn't come. I started to worry. Did he go looking for bigger trouble this time? I thought. But then I kept on screaming and shouting for his name. He never came. I had to pick my own shoes and socks, wear them, and go to school that day. I thought he would be back when I came back from school. But in the evening when I came back home, he was not there. I asked my parents, I asked my mom, "Ma, where is Trouble?" They said, "I don't know where Trouble is. And that is the biggest trouble. We must find him immediately." But that evening, I was completely unable to focus on my studies. I was not able to do anything. That evening, I went all over the neighborhood looking for him. The next morning, when I woke up, there he was, completely covered in mud. "Where have you been?" I asked him. Ruff. Now, how am I supposed to understand that? Where have you been, Trouble? Nowhere, mine. Come, let's give you a nice bath. So I took him to the bathroom. But you see the trouble with Trouble? He does not like having bath. He is very shabby guy. He prefers being very, very dirty. The moment I poured a bucket of water on top of his head, he shook his body that the whole bathroom was covered in mud. And now I was up for some big reprimanding from my mom. Now she had to clean up the whole of the bathroom. She said instead it would have been easier to clean this fellow outside the house and not in the bathroom. Well, that was just one small trouble, I thought. But no, he would not have enough of it. Then after the shower, when he came inside, he had been gone one whole long day, you see. We don't know where he went. So he was obviously hungry. We gave him some food in his bowl. But no, he wanted my grandmother's dosa. He went right, jumped on the table, and ate from her plate. That's it. She started screaming, "Trouble!" And then I thought it was all an end to my dream of having a dog. But my family is such a lovely family that they supported me in every way in raising Trouble. So it took me some time to teach him manners, how to behave, how not to behave, what to do and what not to do. It took me some time to potty train him. You see, whenever I had to take him walking, I had to clean up his potty. That's the deal I made with my father. My father said he wouldn't buy me a dog if I didn't take care of him completely. So I have to clean up after him. Whenever I take him out for a walk, I have to carry a bag, clean up his potty and throw it in the dustbin. That's the deal I struck with my dad, what to do. Okay. So slowly, day after day, I started training Trouble what to do and what not to eat, especially not neighbor auntie's pumpkin Trouble. Okay. And not party's dosa. You can eat mine if you want. I'll share you. So sometimes whenever I was full and party wanted, "Chillo, one more dosa." "Yes, party," I would say. And then slowly I would take that dosa from my plate and give it under the table where Trouble was sneaking. Slowly he would take the dosa from my hand and ate it. Because he too was bored of eating the dog biscuits and the puppy food and all that stuff that is made for them. They don't like that. They like our spicy paneer parathas. Wow, he loves paneer just like you guys. And those cauliflower gobi 65 that my mom makes, wow, he loves them. So slowly we trained him to eat all that we eat. And some table manners, it's okay to sneak some food out of my plate, but not from anybody else's. And then we became the best of buddies. One day, I was very badly ill and I couldn't move a bit. I was down with fever. I was lying in my bed all day. That day, Trouble sneaked up to me on my bed and lied next to me and licking my face all day, trying to give me some company and comfort. Well, people think that it is because of the medicines that I became all right, but no, it is because of his saliva. That is the best medicine, dog's saliva. That made me all right the very next day. Have you ever been licked by a dog? Try it. It's really nice. So that is my adventures with my trouble. He's no longer a trouble, even though we call him trouble. But he's all the best friend on this planet that I have, and he's such a fun to have. All right. Did you all like the story, my dear friends, my dear kutis, my dear chellams?